When our Radio 4 colleague Rory Morrison died last week, we listened again to his voice and to those of other well-known Radio 4 people we've lost. The voices affected listeners in different ways. One pulled over in her car and cried and then went home to listen to old answer phone messages left by her late father. Since then, we've heard from a mother who would call the mobile phone of her late son to hear his voice. Linda Smith's partner spoke to us on Tuesday about his experience hearing Linda pop up on radio and TV. And last night, Angie Jones told us about the single recording she has of the voice of her husband, John, just the sound of him laughing, very briefly, almost 40 years ago. Well, tonight, another PM listener, Anne Ironside, who emailed us to tell us about a recording she made in 1974.
What I got for my 13th birthday was what every self-respecting 13-year-old girl wanted at that point, which was a portable cassette recorder. And I wanted this so that I could sit and record Top of the Pops and the Top 40 on a Sunday evening.
You weren't worried about the legalities of that at 13, were you?
No, I don't think anybody actually was at that point.
No. Well, all right, we'll let that pass, and
yes,
we won't pass on your name to the authorities. And once you did that, you found another use for this cassette recorder.
Well, when I got it, I was so excited I wouldn't let it out of my sight. And 2 days after my birthday, I had to go and visit my grandparents. So I said, I'm not going unless I can take the cassette player with me. So I took the cassette player with me and showed it to them. And they were both nearly 80 at that point and had no idea what this black box on the table did. So I said, well, how would you like it if I sort of recorded you speaking and then I can play it back to you and you can see what it does?
And were they keen?
I don't know if you remember Catweasel when he discovered electricery and sort of stood there looking aghast. They were that was them, absolutely. They didn't have a washing machine, they didn't have a fridge, they didn't have a freezer, they didn't have a phone, they didn't have any technical things at all apart from the TV.
And they must have been born in the previous century.
1895, both of them, and we're talking 1974 when it was my 13th birthday. Yeah, So
great excitement then at this magical device.
From Granddad, from my grandmother, it was rolling her eyes and what am I doing here sort of look on her face. But yeah, I mean, I was excited and I wasn't going to take no for an answer, basically.
What did you get them to do?
I didn't actually ask them to do anything. I just said, here's the microphone, speak into it. And then they sort of took the mic and ran with it. But the thing is, I can't actually remember an awful lot about it because I can remember being in the room, I can remember watching them, but what was actually said is something that I can't remember at all.
Was there anyone else on the tape from the family?
My father was there and my younger brother was there at the time. And again, I can't really remember what their contributions were.
Now, your grandparents, having been born in 1895, you'll have lost them by now. They'll have died,
absolutely.
Obviously. Mm-hmm. What about your dad, who was on the tape?
No, he died as well. He died in 1991. So he died 20 years ago.
Okay, so how often after you recorded this, still at the age of 13, how often did you listen to it?
Once. I played it to my mum when we got home. And then I carried on recording Top of the Pops and the Top 40 that very Sunday evening. And when I got to the end of the tape, which was a C120, and they were notorious for jamming, and you needed the pencil trick to make them work again. I put the thing in a drawer and just worked on the next tape. And it was several years later when I found it in the drawer and thought I'd like to listen to this, but I didn't dare in case the cassette player I had at the time jammed the tape, and then I would have lost it forever.
Well, that's the thing in your email that you sent us. I don't have a cassette recorder, and even if I did, would be terrified of the tape jamming or unravelling and everything lost for good. So the tape sits in a drawer, you wrote, unplayed for almost 40 years, but I can never throw it out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Why couldn't you throw it out?
Because it's the only record I have of any of their voices.
But you didn't want to play it either.
No, I know. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Everything else got binned as I moved from house to house and country to country. But no, that just kept being moved with me. And then when I heard your ongoing strand, I thought, I wonder. Well,
you emailed us and you're speaking to us from BBC Scotland. And as I'm sure you know, we've taken you. Well, we didn't take. You kindly gave us your cassette, and our colleagues at BBC Scotland have used that, and they have successfully transferred the sound.
Really?
So it's now digital.
Ooh.
So you can have it on an MP3. So it's all safe. You can have it forever.
Oh, if you could see my face, it's a great big grin. It's a great big grin.
So that's good, isn't it?
That's wonderful, because I was thinking about it today and I was thinking that means that my children who never met my grandparents can hear the voices of their grandparents, and my grandchildren all the grandchildren in the family can hear the voices of their great-great-grandparents, which is quite something.
And what about you? You haven't heard these sounds since 1974.
That's right.
Would you mind if we listened along to them together?
That's absolutely fine.
Are you sure that's okay? Because this is very personal.
It's okay. Part of me is scared because I'm not sure how I'll react, and part of me is very excited to hear it again.
Well, look, we'll leave your microphone on.
Right.
So we can hear whatever noises you make. But mainly, we will all listen, you and me, to your grandparents, born in 1895, your dad no longer with us. And no doubt you're on this as well, are you? Can you remember? You must be making a noise on this.
Probably saying, be quiet, shut up, be quiet, in the background, being a complete 13-year-old control freak, I think.
OK, well, let's listen to this recording for the first time since 1974.
Hello, Merc. Got over Christmas. Everything's OK. Hope everything goes all right, and look forward to the future when all the after's trouble is over and we shall get cracking again. Keep your chin up, keep smiling, and good luck, good health, and all the best for the new year.
Hello, Myrtle. How do you like hubby being home evenings? You're getting on fine, so I say. Anne and Tony are very pleased.
Big deal.
Well, it's nice to speak to you. All our love, Ma.
Goodness.
You all right?
I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. The background to that was that my dad had been working shifts for years and years and years, and the very next day he was due to start a 9-to-5 job. So that's why they were talking about, him being at home in the evenings, and my brother and I not particularly looking forward to it, I think.
And did I hear your brother there, sounding like a brother?
Yes, you did. He doesn't know I'm here, actually.
Well, it'll be a pleasant surprise for him too. And I wanted to compliment you on the standard of your recording. That didn't sound like it was made in 1974, and it sounded like you had everyone speaking at the proper level.
Oh, thank you. That was completely accidental. It was fascinating to hear my grandfather's voice. He left Kent in 1910, but by 1974 he obviously still had a bit of a Kentish twang to him there. Wonderful.
Well, look, you can have that recording. You can take it with you, and then you can listen to it whenever you like, and all the rest of your family can hear it too.
Thank you so much. It's just so exciting to be able to hear that again. It's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Anne Ironside.